new and traditional media, people and means that cover Yugra in informational space. Because now we stop the story about channels and we will continue with journalists and journalism. To start our conversation about this topic, we need to discuss what is journalism. Here is a quote by George Orwell. Do you know George Orwell? Everybody knows. He's famous as a writer, but also George Orwell was a journalist. That's not the seldom situation when the writer starts to be the journalist and the journalist starts to be the writer. Yes, so here is the quote by George Orwell about what is the journalist. I want you to make some 1, 2, 3 groups. Try to discuss what is journalism. By yourself or by George Orwell. What is journalism? What do you think about it? Ladies and gentlemen, so what is the journalism for our first group? The agenda constructing. Yes? The process of constructing the agenda. This is the journalism. Okay, what was your opinion? There is a concept about your theory, and it's named the concept of gatekeeping. Journalist as a gatekeeper. And what was your opinion? You are quite close, but before I told you what George Orwell was thinking about the journalism, I want all of us play a little game. This is the real training for journalists in the United States. So, the situation that you are a journalist and you are at the interview with the Ministry of Defense. His phone is calling. He answers and change his face and ask you to stay for some minutes and run away. And you see at his table the information, his table just in front of you, so you see the information about the beginning of the war with your country. What will you do with this information? What will you do with this information? You can discuss in the group in a minute, just in a minute, and make a decision because the Ministry of Defense will come back in a few seconds. Okay, good idea. Let's vote. Who is ready to publish the information about the war? Who is ready to publish the information? 1, 2. So,
I'm not sure.
you should, because you can only do or do not. So, 3% to publish. Other? No. That is 2. You have you see the paper with all details in the table of Ministry of Defense. So this is the information. The only question is to publish it or not to publish. So there are different standards, and this test is very informative because if we are thinking about our society that they are ready to decide themselves what to do, yes, we will publish the information. If we are thinking about our society as we are thinking about a child, yes, and try to protect them from the responsibility from some special choices, we will not publish the information. So, the story of Watergate. Have you ever heard? You do. Have somebody else have heard about Watergate? Okay, this is the story about the paper on the table. And your story about president is not the story about paper on the table. Why? Because there was no facts. You see, yes? That's what you are talking about. Yes? Because if you do not, if you have no opportunity to double check the information, this is not the information. Okay. So, George Orwell writes that journalism is printing what somebody else do not want to be printed. Everything else is public relations. I think, okay, I am agree with this position of George Orwell, because if you publish only the information which makes everybody happy, this is not the information, this is not the important information, because an important information can't make everybody happy. I am speaking about facts, because there are a lot of facts that some people do not want to be printed. But as a media professionals, as a journalists, we should publish these facts. Yes, sure. I'm talking about quality journalism. Thank you for your question, because this is important. Yes, we're speaking about high quality journalism, and we're speaking about fact-based journalism. You see, that's very interesting how we discuss the problem, because you see, Orwell was staying at the position of journalism as a content producing, yes? But as we can see in sociology or in economics, we have, for example, the society of postmodern, yes? So we have post-journalism, and we discuss the situation from absolutely different point of view. So look here. This is Vasily Gatov, the researcher, the communicativist. He was one of the top of RIA Novosti, and now he's living in the United States and continue his researching in post-journalism. Vasily Gatov declared that the creation of the content is not the main skill anymore for the journalist. Yes, that's what you were talking about. That probably the most important thing the journalist should do is not only aggregation, but also double checking. Okay, the journalist should help the audience to prove the information in informational flow produced by the audience. This is post-journalism, yes, because the content production is not the monopoly of the journalists anymore. Everybody can produce the information. Everybody can produce the content and to distribute the content. So the creation and distribution of media content is no more the monopoly of the mass media, of the journalists. And this is not the thing the audience need from the media professionals. They need the double checking, the gate opening and double checking of the informational flow. Also, there are so many contents, so the audience need from us some help in packing of the content. And of course, audience need the interpretation. That's the main changes from the time of Orwell to nowadays. Yeah? The main change is that in the time of Orwell, the journalism was about to create the content and to distribute the content. And now it is about to verify the content, to navigate the user, the audience in the content, to pack the content, and some work for interpretation of data. So far, in my personal study, I find out 3 blocks of new roles of the journalist in the internet. So first, at the first block of our communication, we were speaking about channels, yes, about mass media. Then we were speaking about journalism as a profession, and now we're speaking about journalists. So journalists are about moderating, about social study, about mediating and dispatching the audience in the content. Just I want you to remember some actualized roles, because we'll need them in the last half an hour we will work. So have 5 minutes rest.